I don't know how come John L., I think mainly, but it might have been Dolores or what's her name? What's Virgil Harms's
Marcio.
Marcio? Or it might have been them. I don't really remember which one it was. But anyway, they said they could raise a table.
Mhm.
So they had us sit around this table, and we were at John L.'s house, if I remember
Mhm.
right, because that's, we've been playing cards. So everybody had to sit there and put their fingertips real lightly on the table
Mhm.
and close your eyes and really concentrate. And I didn't believe in that. So I was kind of trying to peek and see if anyone was pressing down harder on one side. But it didn't look like it. You can tell if you're pressing down by
Mhm.
looking at here. It didn't really look like that it was, but the table did rise. That really scared me. I did not want anything to do with that. And I took my hands off and said, I don't want to do this. I'll just watch you all.
Mhm.
And that's all I really remember about it.
Wow. But wasn't your grandma? Didn't you say your mom's mom
They had just
was?
a lot of stories about panthers, following their horse and buggy
Uh huh.
at late at night when they stayed for revivals and things like that, and they could hear it, and they could see its yellow eyes
Uh huh.
shining when they would hold the lantern back.
Uh huh.
And then one time, Mom had to stay at the house by herself. I don't know why. That was before my aunt was born. Her sister was born, so she was under 12 years old, and she knew that she heard someone upstairs in the attic. She could hear things rustling around and everything, and she was scared to death. And anyway, whenever her mom and dad got back home, she told her dad, he went up there and it was a squirrel. But they had all of these scary stories that they used to tell about.
That, yeah, that was typical.
Yeah,
Mhm.
about these travelers stopping, and they couldn't go any further, and they asked this person if this lived at this farm if they could have a spare room and they could stay all night, because people actually did that back in those times.
Mhm.
You didn't worry about it. And they go up there and then they find blood in the bed or on the floor, or they see a body all those kind of, and they told all kinds of scary stories.
But I thought you had said that your mom talked about how her mom either um, she could she would like read people's palms, or she could see into
Yeah.
the future, or she had things happen. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
I don't know
No,
where that came
sorry.
from.
If
Okay.
that happened, I don't remember it
No,
now.
then I probably dreamed it, but I thought for sure
Maybe it was on your dad's side.
that may have
It
been.
used to scare me to death all the time. That's why I was so afraid of the dark. Because Daddy always told the tale about these people who lived out in a wooded area, and the lady went to throw out her dishwater one night, and she heard this growling, and she dashed back in and shut the door just as something hit the door. And they thought it was a panther, and that if she hadn't gotten back into the house, he might have attacked her. I don't know if that was true or not.
No, Mom used to tell us the similar story
Yeah.
about it. But come to find out, my mom told me one day, that was actually a movie that they saw.
I wonder if they saw the same movie.
It was back a long time ago, and this girl was supposed to be home by a certain time, and she ran out, and she did not get home. When she started home, she found out it was really late, and she was running there and pounding on the door because she knew she could hear this growling coming behind her, and they would not open the door because she was supposed to be there at a certain time, and it clawed her to death.
Oh, my.
But then Mom, I think that was to scare us, so we would always pay attention.
Well, see, that's what I think too. It was usually turned out like the squirrel story though, because Daddy always told about these kids would ride by this old abandoned house in their horse and buggy, and when they went by, there would be a white ghost come to the door.
No.
They'd see this ghost. And so finally somebody decided they would go at night and investigate, and it was a big white goat that was living in the house at night. And when it would hear the horse and buggy come down the road, the goat would come and look out. But he was not in there in the daytime, so when people in the daytime.
The white
they would
goat
see
living in the
goat,
house.
But at night, that's where he was. And then my grandparents kept hearing about the same time every night, they would hear chains in the attic area. And it was like it was haunted or something. And finally, somebody investigated